Hello everybody, my name is Rolo and today we're reading some Reddit stories. So if that's your cup of tea, please do like and subscribe, and let's jump into today's first story. Today's first story is from Maxine Lou 7, titled, Am I the asshole for not disclosing I had plastic surgery to my boyfriend? I, 26 female, have been dating Max, 25 male, for 4 months. When I was 22, I had a nose job as I broke my nose twice as a kid and it left it with a large bump. Then, at 23, I had a breast augmentation that bumped me up 2 cup sizes. These were lifelong insecurities that I was bullied over, and it was really relieving to get them done. On to the present. I met Max through a friend and things have been great. Last night I was scrolling through my social media while on the sofa with him. I stopped on an old classmate's vacation photo where she wore a bikini and frankly had very obvious implants. She looks great and I'm happy for her, but you can tell. Max glanced over at that moment and said, "Gross." I asked him what the deal was and he said, women who get implants or other surgeries are a huge turn-off to most guys, and how men prefer natural over 2 balloons and how insecure she looks. I couldn't help but laugh and said, "So you're turned off by me?" He got very confused and asked what I meant. I informed him that I had had procedures done before. He kept denying it, saying I was joking, until I showed him old photos of me. He got quiet and left shortly after. I got a text saying I should have disclosed this on the first date, how I led him on, and that he needs to reconsider things. It's the next day, and I haven't heard anything. I'm bewildered. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole at all in this situation. Max just sounds extremely insecure in himself. He thought that he was this all-knowing guy who could just look at a woman and tell if she's had plastic surgery, but you proved him wrong. You showed him that surgeries can look very natural and good on people if they are done correctly. But how are you supposed to bring up that you've had surgeries on your first day just as you're talking? "Oh yeah, where are you from?" "Oh, I'm from blah blah blah. And I've had breast augmentation, nose job, leg removed, blah blah blah." How are you going to tell them all of these surgeries that you've had on the first date? That's not first date conversation topic. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, not the asshole. Now let's move on to some comments. Local Mama 83 says, "Not the asshole. You shouldn't have to disclose your medical history for someone to date you." To which OP replies, "That's what I thought. Even though it's mainly cosmetic history, clearly he liked how I look enough to start dating me, so what's the issue, lol?" Matt Davies replies to that saying, "The issue is, he now realizes he's a hypocrite." Toy Heart Attack says, "This reminds me of older men who share pictures of women with a full face of makeup that's beachy or natural, and then claim they only like women who wear no makeup." A deleted commenter says, "Not the asshole. You looked out that he showed you this side at 4 months in. You could have been married before you found out he's this shallow or misogynistic." Edit. Assuming women take most men's preference for natural breasts into consideration when deciding they would like breast augmentation is a misogynistic viewpoint. Or indeed that men's preference for anything should matter at all to a woman deciding on her own aesthetic. Edit 2. He was physically attracted to her. His dislike of cosmetic surgery has nothing to do with what he is physically attracted to. What about hair plugs? Is that mental health? Red flag? OP responds to that saying, "I agree. Honestly, even if he texts me again saying he's okay to continue, I really don't think I'm interested." The Deadly Panda Gamer says, "Not the asshole. Not going to any second dates if he expects someone to disclose medical information on a first date. Are you telling me that he cannot tell after dating for 4 months? I assume that he has hands and has gotten past third base. Unless it was his first purr." OP replies saying, "He has had 4 girlfriends before me, so I assume he has. I had a great surgeon though, and everything does look very natural. I think he just had an expectation all implants look like solid circles strapped onto a chest, and he can't fathom that's not the case. Opie responds to a deleted commenter who asks if they've had sex and why she never told him. We had sex before, yeah. By looks, they do look pretty natural. However, I've never had any partners ask otherwise. By touch, no clue. Maybe the guys I've been with have no clue how implant feels? I got nothing. I also don't think that this was a first date convo. Lol. OP updates through an edit the next day. Edit. Alright y'all, I got a text from him a few minutes ago asking to meet up as he thinks he wants to continue the relationship and wants to talk things over. After all these comments and some thinking, I sent back something along the lines of his reaction made me feel like he's not the partner I'm looking for and that I've decided to not continue our relationship. So yeah, I'm single now. Kind of confused if I should mention this to future dates before we're official to weed out any more people like him. How do you even bring this up? Oh well, I like me. I'm content with my natural and unnatural parts, and I'll find someone who doesn't have huge hang-ups on plastic surgery. Edit 2. I just woke up and there's no way I can reply to all the comments I got overnight. But thank you to everybody for your opinions, and thank you to everyone who's wishing me well. I am sad. We had plenty of good times in those 4 months, and I was hopeful about this one. But I'll be alright. Time for a few self-dates to cheer myself up. Edit 3. He finally replied to my text, saying, I was hopeful we could start over on an honest beginning, but I guess only one of us is mature enough to look past each other's shortcomings in the relationship. I'm glad you revealed this about yourself before I got too involved. Goodbye. Good luck finding someone, cause no real man would respect someone who can't even respect their own body. Wow. I was comfortable with my decision before, but now I'm extra comfortable, LMFAO. Blocked and bye. He never deserved this limited edition set. Holy heck, yeah, it's a good job that OP decided straight away that whether or not they had that conversation they wanted to just break up for good, because with that response, that text response he sent, wow, just there's no words. He was very clearly just does not respect OP anymore, and he would have just been resentful, and the relationship eventually would have crashed and burned regardless. So yeah, breaking up is really the only option in this kind of situation. Let's jump into some replies to that update. Cotton Dragon says, so I read this to my boyfriend as I wanted a guy's perspective on this, and we had a good laugh at Max's expense. Sorry OP, not at yours. I know this is probably not a fun moment in time for you, but what an a-hole. As boyfriend put it, yeah, because that's the most pertinent information on a first date, not what are your interests or what's your family like, but tell me what bits of you are plastic. Good riddance to this dude, and we hope you feel better soon. Much love, and not the asshole. OP responds to that saying, I'm very, very relieved by the comments of men that are also bewildered by this. It gives me hope for my next dating adventure. Thanks for the well wishes. Dimmy Rag says, he wanted to continue the relationship, but at the same time saying no real man will respect her, so he does not consider himself a real man? That message cemented his misogynistic status. Yet again I try says, lol, OP's ex is such a loser. You can tell he was trying to save his screw up, but his ego wouldn't let him. Also love the idea that on a first date you should be like, so I grew up in Dallas, I have one sister, and here's my medical history including elective procedures. Yeah, so that's where I'm going to leave story 1, but I think that this is the best outcome for OP. She found out what a douche canoe Max was, and she can move on to somebody better who isn't going to care that she had a nose job and breast augmentation, considering it's her choice with her body. And hopefully one day we get one more update just saying that she's living her best life with a husband or whatever who respects her and loves her the way that she is. Yeah, overall a very, very nice update. She avoided a huge bullet and now she can move on to better things. Anyway, please leave your thoughts about that story down in the comments and let's move on to our next story. Our next story comes from Tatted Up Girl with the title, My niece, 18, wants me to design her wedding with a month and a half notice. I, 33, will be on vacation the weekend she picked to get married. I'm facing a situation and I'm not sure how to handle it. In April of this year, my oldest niece, Dawn, 30, announced that she and her boyfriend would be getting married on September the 5th of this year. My niece asked me to please handle all the centerpieces and any decor for the weddings, as well as being her maid of honor. I was thrilled and worked my ass off for 4 months. It was really hard work, but I pulled it off and my niece was over the moon with how her wedding turned out. Dawn left all of the decor up to me, saying I could do what I wanted, and thankfully, she and everyone else at the wedding loved it. At the reception, my youngest niece, Leah, who is 18, decided that her older sister's wedding was the best time to tell everyone that she and her boyfriend are getting married on Halloween this year. I was busy and had heard her saying something, but didn't really think about it again until this afternoon. Dawn called saying Leah had called her saying she had bought her wedding dress. Leah told Dawn that since Dawn makes cakes, she wants her to do her wedding cake and she loved what I did for Dawn's wedding, so she wants me to do hers as well. While I'm glad to be the person she wants to decorate her wedding, this brings up a shitload of issues. Issue 1. 3 months ago, my mother, 60, and I booked a trip out of town for the weekend Leah has picked for her wedding. Call me selfish, but we have really been looking forward to this trip. Our lives have been kind of crazy, and the time away is really needed. Issue 2. I paid for all the crap I needed to make the centerpieces and to decorate for Dawn's wedding. I told her it would be my husband and I's wedding gift to her. I paid for everything so she could have really nice stuff that I knew she couldn't afford on her own, and Dawn was over the moon. At that time, I had the money to do it. 2 weeks before Dawn's wedding, I moved into a new house, then got laid off the next day. So my money is tight. I have a family to help support. Leah told Dawn she has zero money for decorations and the cake, meaning she expects Dawn to make the wedding cake, pay for it, and me to pay for decor and centerpieces. With Dawn and myself just paying for Dawn's wedding, we are all tapped out. She is also expecting my parents to pay for the food since they paid for the food at Dawn's wedding. Issue 3. Leah picked October 30th for the day of the wedding. We live in southern Indiana, and the weather in the Midwest this time of year can be either rain or even snow. The location of the wedding is at my parents' farm, outside. There is nowhere to go if it rains or anything. It's all 100% outside. So I'm not going to lie, Leah is, and always has been, a huge asshole. She thinks just because she says, "This is what I want," everyone should hop to it. She can be really difficult just because. Dawn asked Leah what kind of maid of honor dress she needed to look for, and Leah's answer was whatever. She wants her wedding to be Nightmare Before Christmas themed, said her wedding color is navy blue, and doesn't have any thoughts about anything else. So she wants everyone to do everything and come up with it all on our own, and when dealing with Leah, that means that even though she purposefully didn't say what she wanted, what you give her will not be good enough or right, and she will throw a fit. It's the reason I had to stop buying her anything for Christmas and her birthday. Nothing was good enough and she'd freak out, so no more gifts. So my question Reddit is, how do I go about talking about all of these issues with Leah? I can't do what she wants. None of us can. While I do want to do for her what I did for Dawn, I'm just not in the place to do that again this soon. If I could talk her into moving the wedding to December and having it be at her dad's giant building, I could do what she wants. No one would be in the rain or snow, and my mother and I won't be out of town. How do I tell her this without her turning it into me just trying to tell her what to do? TLDR, my niece's wedding plans are just flat out not going to work. How do I break it to her in any way that she will actually listen to and not think I'm just telling her what to do? Leah just sounds so absolutely entitled to everything. Entitled to Dawn's time to make a wedding cake, which is not cheap. Entitled to your time, effort, and money to make decor and centerpieces, which are not cheap and take a long time. Entitled to your parents' farm for the wedding venue when, from what it sounds like, your mother is not even going to be there. Entitled to having her wedding announcement be at her sister's wedding. It's crazy the amount of just overstepping this girl has done. And like you said, nothing is going to be right because she's not given anybody any specifics. It's most likely she does have a specific theme in mind. She just hasn't told anybody. So when you don't match that theme, you're then going to be the one that she's mad at, saying you ruined her special day. Nothing has gone right because of you. I don't think that you should do it. I think you should just say it's not possible for you at this time and you wish her the best in finding somebody who can complete her request to the best of their abilities, and you'll just send a gift or something. It's not worth the time, effort, or emotional drain that it's going to take on you to do this for her. Now let's jump into some comments. Hats and Topcoat says, the wedding is at your parents' farm when your mother won't be there? To which OP says, yep, my niece didn't ask anybody anything. She just started telling everyone that she's getting married. I'm telling Leah Tuesday about the trip and everything I put in my post. I want her to actually listen and not think I'm just being a dick or don't care about something. WorkSafe account 15 says, maybe your mum could say, listen, I don't feel comfortable having dozens of people at my house when I'm away on vacation. You may use my farm, but not on a weekend when I'm not there. You have to reschedule or find somewhere else. And then watch the whole thing implode when she can't find a venue this late in the game anyway. Opie responds to that saying, you know, I think you're right. My mum is way stronger than me. I cave because I don't want to hurt feelings. My mum cuts right through the bullshit. Thaddeus Crane says, wow, does her boyfriend even know he's getting married? And in this timeline? I just tell her no, you're busy that weekend, as is your mother whose farm she's planning on using. And furthermore, it's not in your budget. Your reasons are incredibly reasonable, and your niece sounds like she couldn't handle her sister getting married and being in the spotlight more than her. Opie responds, I think that's exactly what it is. 2 months before the wedding, Leah set off for boot camp, so for the months leading up to that, she was getting a lot of attention. Then something happened, no one knows the truth, and she got shipped back from boot camp 3 weeks before the wedding. Dawn refused to make Leah a bridesmaid and told her there was no time for her to get a dress and all that. So of course she thought Dawn's wedding was the best time to tell everyone she is getting married. Opie then comes in with an update 3 days later. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who commented on my original post. In my everyday life, I am the problem solver and the fixer, so I was looking at this entire situation as a problem that I needed to solve. I knew if I asked you guys what to do, you would all see it from a perspective that I was just way too close to see. Thank you all for showing me that not only was any of this not my problem, but also that it was not my responsibility to do anything at all in this situation. Clearly, I have shit that I need to work on and keep working on. My husband has helped me over the 11 years we have been together. I used to be like a field mouse and absolutely terrified to say no to people, sometimes even crying over it. Thanks to the people on here who suggested it, I'm actually going to start practicing saying no and standing up for myself and letting no be a complete sentence. My husband said I can start practicing on him whenever I need to, and we will start working on it today. Okay, so the update. Sunday night, I called my mum and told her everything. I pointed out that we will be gone on the weekend Leah was wanting to be married on, and said that for once, I would be putting my foot down. We will be going on the trip. My mum laughed and said not to worry, and that Leah has lost her damn mind if she thinks any of us will pay for anything. I told her to call my dad before my sister had a chance to lie to him. My dad said the same thing as mum and decided to call Leah's dad to find out what was going on. Leah's dad said he told Leah that since he just bought her a car and his business is getting ready to shut down for winter, he could not afford a wedding for her this year. He told her to put the wedding off till around May of next year, and that would be enough time. Leah lost her shit. Her dad said after a lot of screaming, she finally yelled, "I'll pay for it myself." And apparently, in Leah's mind, that meant getting all of us to pay for it. My dad said he needed to tell Leah that not a single one of us will ever pay for her to get married, ever, and if she just absolutely has to, she can do it at the courthouse. Later that night, Leah's dad called my dad back and said he sat Leah down and demanded to know why she was pushing for a wedding so soon. It turns out her boyfriend is joining the Navy, and they thought it would be a good idea to get married. Her dad told her that none of us are paying for anything for her wedding, and she would have to go to the courthouse if she had to, but there will be no wedding this year. After an hour of yelling, Leah said fine, and she will just move the wedding to next year. But honestly, if her boyfriend is going away, I can totally see her finding a new guy while he is gone, and this whole wedding thing going away. So thank you all so much for helping me. TLDR, Leah's dad finally got through to her that no one will be paying for her wedding, and she agreed to put it off. I'm going to work on myself and have an awesome trip. I'm very, very glad that Leah's dad managed to get through to her that this is not happening now, and nobody is paying for it. But I wouldn't be surprised it comes around to May, she's back in your inbox, begging you to make the decorations still, saying she'll pay you a small sum to do it or whatever, but you should stand your ground and just keep strong with that refusal. From what you've said, it sounds like whether or not they get married, it's not going to last if she's not loyal, if that's what you meant in your last paragraph there, that is. Overall, I would say this is a good ending. You know, you don't have to pay anymore. The wedding isn't happening. You've got rid of that stress, and you can still go on your trip. Okay, now let's move on to some comments. A deleted commenter says, "Thanks for the update. She sounds like the type to cheat on her boyfriend when he hasn't even been at boot camp for a week." OP responds to that saying, "She's cheated on him a lot." Nixter Boss responds to that saying, "Wow, fucking tell him. Don't let them get married. She sounds crazy." Opie replies saying, "The fucked up thing is, she tells him herself. She cheats on him, tells him about it, and says he can't get mad because she was honest with him." Opie responds to comments asking why the boyfriend even wants to marry Leah after all of that. He has very low self-esteem and self-worth. He thinks Leah is the only person who will ever love him. Dawn has told him many times he could find someone better. OP comes in with a second update the next day. "Well, a few people wanted an update to the update, so I thought I'd let everyone know that Dawn and I found out today that Leah got married on Tuesday. Absolutely no one knew about it. Leah's mum, my sister, no one. Dawn called her today to try to talk Leah out of the whole marriage thing altogether. Dawn said to her mum that there was no way she could think it's a good idea for Leah to get married, and my sister replied, well, it's kind of too late for that. Dawn asked her mum what the hell that meant, and she said they snuck off on Tuesday and got married at the courthouse. My sister tried to act like Leah had no choice, since it's my fault none of us would pay for her wedding. Apparently, I somehow have the power to tell my parents not to pay for a wedding, and since I thought my trip was more important and refused to let Mum cancel, what was Leah supposed to do? Dawn went off on her mum and stuck up for me, but I couldn't care less if she's blaming me. I cut my sister out of my life 6 years ago, so anything she says means nothing in my life. Leah says they will have a real wedding next year, and Dawn told her mum that when she does have it, not to ask her for a cake or for me to decorate. Dawn said she will not help in any way, and she told me she's gonna beat me if I help, but I told her not to worry about it. So yeah, that's that, I guess. Hope my sister can pay for the divorce. TLDR, Leah snuck off and got married. My sister said she had to because of me. Fuck 'em. OP gives us a little bit more information about Leah's character in a couple comments she made, which I'll read to you now. So, I make handmade gifts for people that I love, and I used to make my niece handmade things for her all the time. Until one day she let slip that everything I've ever made for her, she sold online. She told me I should be flattered because everything sold for a good chunk of change. That was 6 years ago, and she doesn't understand why I no longer give her any gifts at all. She completely broke my heart. Katai's91 responds to that saying, "Oh wow, that would hurt so much to hear. The entitlement of some people." To which OP responds, "The one that broke my heart is that I made her a custom coffee table out of a door from our grandma's house. That door was the last thing we had from the house, and now it's in some stranger's house." Another commenter asked for some clarification saying, "Not to be weird, but I saw you'd written about her a while back. Is she still married? Are there kids? LMAO. OP replied, "That's a different niece. She's actually married to someone else and she can't have kids." I mean, with how entitled Leah was, I didn't expect her to actually just go with the courthouse wedding. I would have expected her to just wait it out so she could have a really big show of things, but I guess that running behind everybody's back to have a courthouse wedding is also a good way to get some people talking about what you're doing. From OP's last comment there, it sounds like the first husband did divorce Leah and moved on, which honestly, good for him. Hopefully he found his self-worth and realized that he doesn't have to put up with that. Now for some comments. Cream Puff Delight says, "Quote-unquote problem solver is just a nice name for the pushover you can shove all your problems to." To which Unsuitable Fox says, "This is my mum. The worst part is that she will try to rope everyone else into it too. She'll promise to drive someone to the airport, but she doesn't drive, so she has to get my dad or brother to do it. She'll promise to find someone a job, then turn to me and ask to get them hired at the company I work for, so on and so forth. Those people who give in to avoid drama usually create much more drama than they solve." And one last comment from Peter095837, which says, "Every day, I appreciate that my life is boring and calm without having family drama involved." What a perfect place to end. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it today, guys. So if you enjoyed the story today, please do comment down below and let me know your thoughts and opinions. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye!